Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Magic's 7th Capture the Flag Ethical Hacking Cybersecurity Competition. My name is Vince BUSCEMI, and I will be your MC for today's event. We are live streaming this event from Carroll Media Center's Channel 19 studios. You can find the link to the live production on our Twitter and Facebook pages. Also, we encourage you to take pictures, post to social media with the hashtag CTFMagic. You can find Magic's page and join in on the fun on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, and on Facebook. And remember, use that hashtag CTFMagic. We want to share today's events with all of our friends. We want to make new friends. We want to get other students excited about cybersecurity and joining us here and around the world. If you send us a question using that hashtag, I will try to answer it during one of the breaks. So be creative, have some fun, and we're going to have a really fun day here. In just 30 minutes, we will have over 130 middle school, high school, and college students from 8 locations around the world competing to solve cybersecurity puzzles and capture virtual flags. The team that's found the most flags and has the most points at the end of the competition will be the winner of Magic's 7th Capture the Flag. Now, MAGIC stands for the Mid-Atlantic Gigabit Innovation Collaboratory. MAGIC's Capture the Flag event gives students interested in technology and cybersecurity the opportunity to enrich their understanding in this exciting field. The CTF also brings together cyber professionals and tech-forward communities to further connect our tech ecosystem. So whether you are streaming us live, watching this at home at a later date, or volunteering today as a coach, or if you're competing for the very first time on a team, we welcome you to connect, collaborate, and help us make some magic happen today. So, if you aren't familiar with folks around you, introduce yourself, say hi, get to know everyone that's playing along. This is a fun competition, and get to know them, connect on social media. Make today the beginning of your magical career in the growing tech field. Now, I'm going to pass it to Amy Rupp, who is the Executive Director for Magic, to tell us a little bit more about today's event. Amy.
Thank you, Vince. Let's give Vince a round of applause. He's our MC. He's volunteering. As Vince said, my name is Amy Rupp. I'm the Executive Director for Magic, and our mission at Magic is to build a tech ecosystem. So we do this by creating and nurturing talent, entrepreneurship, and tech businesses, and elevating the Westminster gigabit community to lead the Mid-Atlantic region. Today's Capture the Flag is really focused on cybersecurity, workforce development. So this means helping all of you to acquire new skills, develop those skills, grow your professional network, and find careers in the cyber industry. We are here to connect students with local tech professionals and community leaders who have an interest in preparing our workforce for careers in cybersecurity and technology. This network of people includes our sponsors, our partners, locations, and all of our volunteers. I want to take some time to thank each of them for helping to make this event possible. Magic's 7th Capture the Flag is sponsored by the Carroll Community College, CTC Technology and Energy, the Maryland Department of Commerce, Carroll Hospital Center, the University of Maryland University College, Next Century Cities, and the Carroll County Chamber of Commerce. Let's give all of our sponsors a round of applause. The CTF would not be possible without the help of our partners, and for today's event, the Carroll County Public Library, as well as System Source, are 2 partners that have really helped us to expand this event. And I'd also like to make a very special thank you to the City of Westminster for their ongoing support of this event, as well as Hill Development Group. So let's have another round of applause for our sponsors, partners, and supporters. As Vince mentioned, we have locations around the world playing with us today. So we have 8 locations around the world, and I'm going to welcome each of them. So we have 2 first-time locations. We've added an international location. So participating for the first time in Estonia is Tallinn University of Technology in Tallinn, Estonia. In the U.S., we have a first-time location at the Baltimore County Library. Their Catonsville branch is playing in Catonsville, Maryland for the first time. So welcome to the competition. We also have 6 returning locations. Returning in Paide, Estonia, which is Westminster's sister city, is the Paide High School. And we also have returning in Quito, Ecuador, students participating at their high school, St. Dominic School. Returning here in the U.S., we have St. Mary's County Library playing at their Lexington Park Library. And playing in Frederick County Public Library, we have the Burr Artz Library. We also have the very first Capture the Flag location where there were just a handful of students playing, which is the TING Westminster. So they are back as a host location playing here in Westminster. And then, of course, we have our main arena here in Westminster at the Community Media Center of Carroll County. So huge welcome. Let's clap. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of this event. So before I pass it back to Vince, I just want to thank all of our volunteers. We have volunteers around the world, and I especially want to thank our student competitors that have come back as volunteers to improve this event. So this is an event that's for students, and it gets better and better every single time because of the students that come back to volunteer. So thank you to all of our volunteers for helping to guide and encourage the next generation of cybersecurity professionals. And competitors, make sure that you connect with the volunteers that are here today. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Vince, who's going to introduce some of our very special guests that we have here today.
All right, thank you, Amy. So, one of the biggest problems facing our world today is cybercrime. As cyber attacks increase in frequency, the demand for trained professionals to defend against such attacks is expected to grow much faster than any other occupations. By 2021, there will be an estimated 3.5 million unfilled cybersecurity jobs in the world. Today, we are working together across our 8 communities to shrink that number. Magic specifically focuses our CTF events for entry-level participants in an effort to bring new individuals into the technology and cybersecurity workforce pipeline. Now, someone with an interest in making sure that we have trained cyber workforce is the Adjutant General of Maryland, Major General Singh. We are honored to have Major General Singh here with us today. She is responsible for the daily operations of the entire Maryland Military Department. She is a senior advisor to the governor and serves as a member of the governor's cabinet. Let's give her a round of applause, Major General Singh.
So first, I want to thank the team here at Magic for really being a huge committed organization in terms of supporting what is so important for the future, not just of our country, but for the future of the world. And that is investing in our young people to get them started into what I consider to be kind of the next kind of technology space in which everyone is going to work. We cannot escape cybersecurity, cyber in general, no matter how we look at it. And so getting individuals like you not only interested in cyber, but getting you to have that first kind of toe dip into what does it mean to be able to kind of be a cyber professional, and then how could you take that and move forward. And so I want to thank all of the teams and all of the competitors for today, because when you are done, and you turn 18, right, 17, 18, please come look us up in the Maryland National Guard, because we have some of the best cyber resources. And not only can you be a member of the Maryland National Guard, but you can also work at some of our great partners all around the state. And I say our great partners because it really is a partnering opportunity. And so if you think about just what it means for your future, take every opportunity to learn something from this event and take it into your future life. and think about where you're going to work. And when I hear the number of how many jobs that we're going to need in cyber, that makes me a little scared. That makes me a little scared that we need about 6 or 7 more of these types of events and organizations just here locally to be able to get kids interested in cybersecurity. And so I want to thank you for what you're doing. I want to thank you to our partner countries because we could not do it without you. And I want to thank Magic because I can't even imagine, when we talked about this a number of years ago and what you all were doing, I will say my hat's off to you. And please keep doing it and let us know how we can continue to partner. So thank you.
Thank you so much to Major General Singh. This is quite an honor to have her here with us. Really, really super special. And we also have another person to welcome, and that is Sheriff Jim DeWeese from the Carroll County Sheriff's Office to remind us of some of the seriousness of cybercrime and the importance of using what you learn here today for good. Because please remember, this is an ethical hacking competition, right? All right, Sheriff DeWeese.
Good afternoon. So I'm going to ask you all to stop looking at your computers. I know it's hard to do because I was just looking at my iPhone before I walked up here. But what I have to say is extremely important. I am the sheriff of this county. I look out into the crowd and I know a number of you. This is my 3rd year speaking at this contest. It's an absolute pleasure for me to be here and speak with you and all of those out there participating in today's contest. As sheriff of this county, I oversee law enforcement for a population of about 172,000 people. I oversee both law enforcement and corrections. I also have the jail, and that'll come into play here in a couple of minutes. Almost every day we deal with cybercrime in this county. Throughout a calendar year, it is not uncommon for deputies and detectives from my office to investigate everything from identity theft to human trafficking through the internet. I get up each morning, I shave, I jump into my patrol car, and I go to work as a police officer, as I have for just over 30 years. For thieves that use the internet to commit crimes, that is their job. They get up each morning, I presume, they fire up their computer, and they start going to work. It's nothing personal for them. It's just business. It's their job. Their business is to find as many individuals that they can prey on and build their bank accounts up and pay their bills just like I do as a police officer. The army of internet thieves throughout the world would put any real army to shame in size. Then in comes all of you. The power to work with the internet companies and software designers and ethically see if you can hack a site and expose its vulnerabilities so it saves people from extreme grief, loss of lifetime savings, identity theft, and worse. One of the largest issues facing law enforcement today are the amount of applications or apps on smartphones, encrypted phones that are password protected. My office seizes hundreds of phones each year and pays thousands of dollars in an attempt to legally access important information and data on these devices. I imagine that someday a few of you will be working for companies that design software to keep guys like me from getting a hold of that data. Only down the street, some of you will be working with software companies that create data devices so that I can get into that information rather quickly without figuring out encryptions. My office participates in every internet crime task force out there. We have strong relationships with the FBI, Homeland Security, Secret Service, state police, you name it, anybody that deals with internet crime. The ability to access data on phones and computers in a timely manner is often the difference between life and death for us. Today, when a child goes missing or an internet crime occurs, we don't all need to physically respond. We are able to access digital footprints left by the missing or victims and direct responding deputies more efficiently. How many times have you heard about public jurisdictions having their servers held hostage or ransom? We have elaborate CAD systems, computer-aided dispatch systems, record management systems that house over 30 years of data that is highly valuable to my office and its success in operations. Hospitals have valuable VITA data, patient records, and information that, if gotten hold of, could cripple an institution. Think about it. Can you imagine if someone were able to hack into our files, a hospital database, or even worse, State Highway Administration, or road systems, and shut down traffic signals or an entire grid? From total chaos in major cities to the little old grandmom living paycheck to paycheck, hackers don't care who they destroy. Just remember, there is a human story or a human being at the end of every case that is affected by illegal hacking. Use your powers for good. Help create ways to put illegal hackers out of business. Do not ever go to the dark side. Do not ever go to the dark side, because I promise you it is not easy to hack out of my jail. And I've heard the food there is really bad. So I want to wish all of you good luck, and I hope that one of you creates the next best thing to protecting the little old grandmother that just lost her life savings, or helping law enforcement or even the military with protecting valuable data, valuable files, or even our national security. So good luck to all of you. Good luck to all of you out there. And I pray that each of you stays the course and continues to do this sort of work for good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sheriff. So how many new first-time students, competitors do we have here today? Show of hands. Oh, we've got quite a lot more than I thought. That's fantastic. All right, so then that leaves us with maybe about 12 or so that have been here before. Let me show who's done this competition before. All right, cool. Who's done any ethical hacking competition? Not just this one. We have some others. Fantastic. Great. So this is really important, and as both the Major General and Sheriff DEWEES just said, this is a growing industry and a growing need for all of us. We all have computers, we all have phones and tablets, we have bank accounts that are connected digitally, everything's working virtually, even with cryptocurrency and those sorts of worldwide currencies. It's all done through technology and through computers, and we need to ensure the safety of those. So what you're doing here today, it absolutely could lead to a career in this field. In fact, I just saw just yesterday a friend of mine on LinkedIn updated his status, his title, to professional hacker, right? And I just thought, I was thinking back to when I worked with him, and he was just setting up a computer server in our office when I was working for a software company. And that's all he did, was just kind of set up new computers, get them connected on the network. And I think just that little spark was enough to think, wow, there's a lot of security that's going on here, and I wonder if I can hack into that system. And so he started playing around with just hacking into our own internal system and saying, okay, that was a lot easier than I thought. Let me find something to make it more secure. And that kept growing and growing and growing. And he got another job and another job, another job. And now he is a professional hacker. And his job is to just test the ability to penetrate systems, to get into whether it's a single server, a single computer, an app, a phone, or a community, a networked community all across the world. That is what he does, and he loves it. And I'm sure, I don't know, for sure, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of money behind that ability to be really good at that type of work. So what you're doing here today, and starting off early, middle school, high school, and even into college, it's never too late to get into this industry, because as we've heard today, there's a tremendous amount of opportunity and potential to getting a job and having a career in this anywhere that you want. The skills that you're going to learn today, they include reconnaissance, forensics, exploitation, reversing, cryptography, and more. And again, we can't stress this enough. This is an ethical hacking competition. And so each of you has signed an ethical hacking pledge, but what I want to do is just review number 10 on that pledge, pledge with you right now. And that is that I will be humble and always act with integrity. I will not seek fame or fortune, but use my skills to understand, be alert, and keep the public safe from harm. This includes today with this competition. This includes after today. This includes when you're at home, when you're at school, when you have a job. The things that we're doing today matter in this world. They are important. And so I commend all of you for being here and participating in our 7th Capture the Flag. 7, that's pretty crazy. 007. I was going to drop a whole bunch of James Bond jokes in here, but I also figured that maybe my audience didn't really know a lot about James Bond. Some of us definitely do, right, Major General? So some of us do, but I will spare you the James Bond references. So now we're nearing the time to begin. So I'm going to throw it back over to Amy, who is going to walk you through the next steps.
All right, so we have about 9 minutes before the competition begins. In these last minutes, I'm going to walk you through how you're going to enter the system, okay? So we're all going to start at the same time. So for those of you playing in Quito, it should be 11:30 a.m. For those of us playing here in Maryland, it is going to be 12:30 p.m. And for those playing in Estonia, I believe it's 7:30 p.m. So we will all start at the same time. So at that time, the coaches are going to come around and they're going to give you what's called the CTF team instructions, okay? That piece of paper is very important and you're going to want to read it very, very slowly and carefully. So if you haven't set up your scoreboard account, make sure that your scoreboard account is set up. So all the other locations, make sure your scoreboard account for each team is set up. That's a change this time around from last time. Okay? So at 12:30, you're going to be able to access the CTF team desktop, and this is going to have all of the puzzles on it. To access this, you have to launch your remote desktop client. So if you don't know what I'm saying right now, you should make sure that you raise your hand and find a coach to help you get your RDP so that you know what that means. Each of your team members is going to enter a computer name that's going to be on the piece of paper that's given to you, and that's going to be at the bottom of the form. There's also going to be a username and a password on this piece of paper. It will also be on the bottom of the form. So another important note, if one of your team members, once you get to the scoreboard, once you get in, you will see on the scoreboard that there is going to be opportunities for you to get a hint if you have some struggle. But in clicking on the hint, you are going to lose points. So I'm going to say that again. If you click on a hint on the scoreboard, you're going to lose points. If you really need a hint, you can raise your hand. We have lots of volunteers here in Westminster. I know all of the locations have volunteers that are there to help you. But those volunteers are not going to give you the answer. They're going to help you find the answer on your own, okay? So if you don't want to lose points, raise your hand, say, I don't know what this means, can you help me? And the coach is probably going to respond with a question. So be prepared for that. You'll do some Googling, you'll do some YouTubing, but you're going to figure it out, okay? So one other last tip. If you want your machines to run really smoothly, you want to conserve the resources that are in your remote desktop. So make sure that you use your local browser for searches, not the browser inside the RDP. If you have questions about that, we have coaches that can help you. Also, make sure that you close out any windows that you might have open. If your phone's connected to the Wi-Fi, please disconnect it. You want to use all of that for solving puzzles. And so now we're getting down to the 5-minute mark here. I'm going to pass it over to Vince to help us count down to the beginning of the competition.
All right. So I have 5 minutes to fill. And I don't know any good jokes either, so we're going to figure it out. I think for most of us here, learning something new is fun and exciting, but once you have those skills, the really rewarding thing, especially for me in hosting this and being the MC, is seeing our former competitors come back as coaches and come back and actually help create the game, help create new puzzles, and really grow this game into what it's become today. I remember, I think it was just a few Capture the Flags ago where we ran out of puzzles. We had someone that completed all of the puzzles and did it in record time, and we realized, okay, we really need to step up the game and make this a bit more challenging. Even though this is still an entry-level competition, we really do want to make sure that we're providing you all with the knowledge and know-how to work through all of the puzzles, to make it fun, make it exciting. I mean, I think that's the really great thing is that we're all having a great time. And that we're doing this together, and that Magic is presenting this. Which, by the way, if you didn't know, there is a cybersecurity awards banquet that happens in Maryland, and Magic was nominated and won. It's called the CAMI Award. Robert, do you want to speak a little bit about that, or no? He's good. Or Amy, could you want to? All right.
We got time, right?
Yeah.
We got some time. So just this week, there's the it's the Cybersecurity Association of Maryland. If you are in Maryland and you're not familiar with this organization, please check them out. They do an awards ceremony every year. Magic was up for an award called the Cybersecurity Industry Resource Award. And we were a finalist. There were 3 other organizations, and we actually won this award for the work that we're doing here today. Yep. Okay, so everybody, one of the things that they mentioned was because this is an international competition, we're getting students involved in this event from around the world and highlighting the fact that Maryland is a leader in cybersecurity. And so that's what the award was for. And it wasn't from me, it was from you guys. All of the volunteers made that award happen.
That's really awesome. Yeah, let's give it up for Magic, everyone. Seriously, these guys, this organization has given so much back to this community, but even globally with this event and this Capture the Flag hacking event, because without Magic's support and help to bring together the Carroll County Public Library, the Chamber of Commerce, the Carroll Media Center right here where we are, and the City of Westminster, all working together. We also have internet partners with TING, and certainly they were the first host, and they've been a big part of this growing community right here in Westminster with a fiber network for city residents. And I know where I am working now, we just got lit up on TING, and it's pretty blazing fast speed. I'm really impressed, although, you know, I wouldn't be watching movies while I'm also working. No, nothing like that. But if I did, I could watch 4K Blu-ray movies simultaneously. Pretty cool. So yeah, we want to just thank all of our sponsors from Carroll Community College to the CTC Technology and Energy Group, the City of Westminster, the Chamber of Commerce for Maryland, the Carroll Hospital, and TING, the Carroll County Chamber of Commerce, and so many more. We just want to thank all of you for your help and support. The Carroll County Public Library, of course, has been an integral part of this, and certainly with the help of providing laptops for a lot of the competitors here. So let's give it up for all of our sponsors one more time, everyone that's helped put this together. We have all seen this event grow to what it is today. It's so super exciting to be up here and hosting this again. It's a great honor. So I want to just thank Amy and Robert and everyone at Magic and everyone here, all of our coaches. Just want to thank you for your time. We're all volunteering for this event. And we certainly want to thank everyone that's behind the scenes at the CMC. We have all of our camera operators, the folks in the control room, everyone working on sound, and everyone that's putting together our scoreboard. One more time, let's just give a big round of applause to everyone today. Remember, share this event with your friends on social media. Use the hashtag CTFMagic. You can use it on Twitter, on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever you want. Send me questions. It can be about anything at all, just not cybersecurity, because I know nothing, but I will find someone in this room who does. I promise you that. So, we are at the final countdown. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are beginning. Coaches, hand out your sheets. Everyone around the world can begin, no matter what time zone you're in. And we have started. Everyone is handing out their sheets. All the coaches are getting involved. If you need any help, please raise your hand. A coach will be around to help you. Once again, you are watching Magic's 7th Capture the Flag Ethical Hacking Cybersecurity Competition. We have just started the game. For those of you watching at home, our coaches are helping get all of our competitors logged into the system. And we are off to the races. BUSCEMI again, and it is my honor to welcome to the interview room Major General Singh. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
So tell us, what is your role with the Maryland military and with the serving on the governor's cabinet?
Right, so my role is to really lead the Maryland Army National Guard, the Maryland Air National Guard.
Okay.
Maryland Emergency Management also rolls up under our organization, as well as the Maryland Defense Force, which is an all-volunteer force that supports all of our teams.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I didn't realize there were so many facets to it, yeah.
There are. I mean, we have military and civilian workforce, which most people don't think of, that actually runs the military department. And we have two missions. I mean, one is a homeland mission that we work for the governor in time of need, in time of crisis, and that could be snowstorms and things like that. And then we have a federal mission when we get deployed and we go off into other places.
Right. Oh, wow. And so here at home, what is one of the biggest issues that you're facing with technology today?
All right, well, one of the biggest issues is really getting folks in that are technology savvy. And I say technology savvy, that doesn't mean that they have to be an expert, and they don't really necessarily have to have any experience when they come into the Guard.
Okay.
The key thing is we want folks that are interested. And when you look at the young people today, almost all of them have cell phones. They have some kind of technology.
It's true.
And so we try to really, get them interested to say, how can you use the things that you like to do, keeping that technology in your hand, and turn it into something that can make money for you.
Absolutely. And for an event like this, when we are reaching that younger generation, how important is it for you and your role with the military to see this event growing like it is in small communities here in Carroll County, but really we're growing the next level of students who are going to potentially go into the military workforce and help you out. How important has this connection been for you and the military?
Well, I mean, when I think of just events like this, where we're doing capture the flag events, or if we're doing cyber education, it really is helping the young people of today to see, well, what is in the art of the possible, and what are the different types of jobs and careers that are out there. And I think the most important thing is that as they start learning what it means to be safe and what it means to be ethical in that cyber environment, they have to realize that there is not a field that anyone can work in that does not have a cyber component to it. So whether it's in business or health, transportation, it does not matter. Cyber is woven into everything we do because technology is there.
Absolutely.
And so they have to really understand that that is the future.
And I think the stat that I read earlier was 3.5 million open, unfilled jobs in cybersecurity. That's a staggering number. There's a lot of potential for those students, so it should be something that excites them. But for us, it's kind of staggering that there's going to be that much of a gap.
It is. I mean, I look at that and I'm like, oh my gosh. Where are we going to get all of those individuals that are interested in going into that workforce? And that's what it is today. That's not looking at, what that number is going to grow to because of future needs. And so we really do need to be doing all that we can. I mean, every organization that has some capability in cyber should be thinking about how we educate the young ones so that we're growing them from the ground up.
Absolutely. And for the folks at home, if you start in the military, you don't have to end in the military. There's plenty of jumping off points. You have the core foundation through the military, but then you can take that skill set virtually anywhere. But people, I think businesses really like to see if you do have that foundation with a military background. That's really something that is desirable, is it not?
Well, I will tell you, just from my experience, having been in the Maryland National Guard, the thing is that I've been in the National Guard part-time,
Okay.
and then I've worked a full-time job, and my job was in a technology and consulting space. And when you look at that, you can really have a dual career, what I consider to be a dual career, a part-time one, and then one that kind of allows you to leap off because you can use the benefits of the National Guard to be able to build your education and things like that for a civilian employer. And so when I look, at a lot of our partners, I have people who work in all different places, and I'm talking Johns Hopkins and NSA and places like that. And so, I mean, it is amazing. And even for myself, I am a part-time guardsman, and I'm a full-time state employee.
Okay.
So yes.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, thank you so much. Once again, it is such an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
And I really do hope that the students in the competing here and around the world really take your message to heart and are encouraged to stay with cybersecurity and technology. It's really vital to our success as a whole. So thank you again, Major General Singh.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're going to send it back to the arena. Maryland, North Carolina, and good afternoon and welcome to Magic's 5th Capture the Flag Ethical Hacking Cybersecurity Competition. In just under 30 minutes, we will have 160 competing simultaneously from 9 locations in Maryland, North Carolina, and Idaho, competing to virtually capture flags by solving cybersecurity puzzles that will earn them points. The team with the most points will be the winner of Magic's 5th Capture the Flag. The skills that students will be learning and demonstrating today include reconnaissance, forensics, exploitation, reversing, cryptography, and more. Each of you has signed an ethical hacking pledge.
Here we are at the Capture the Flag Ethical Hacking Challenge, and a lot of times people, they hear ethical hacking like, well, those two words don't go together. Well, here today they do, because we are teaching students here skills where they can either be superheroes or supervillains, and we are doing our best to make sure that these students gain those skills to be the superheroes. And I think what's so exciting here for me today is that these students are not here for a grade. They're not here because anyone told them to be here. They're here because they're passionate and they're interested in this material. And so this competition is bringing them together to work together, not only with their peers, but with experts in the industry. And so from Magic's perspective, we want to do this in as many ways as possible. And I think this experience today is one of the many things that we want to do to make sure that our students in this community have the resources and the opportunities that will prepare them to design, build, and secure the future of whatever industry.
I am here to welcome you to the 2nd annual Carroll County Hackathon. So you're here today to learn how to design, build, and pitch an application. to Homework Plus, Chris, John, and Jacob. Best Design goes to Help Me, Bobby, Sam, Chris. Come on up. Best Tech goes to Choice, John, Braden, and Richard. And our 2018 Carroll County Hackathon winner goes to Infrastructure, Chris and Steven. Nice job, guys. Yeah.
All right, welcome back. I have Tom Bayard with me, and Tom, you've brought some very special guests.
Yes, as part of our continuing partnership with between Westminster and Paide, Estonia, we have a group of coming here as folk dancers and singers. So they're going to do that a little bit later here after we finish the interview. They're going to show off some of their talents.
That's fantastic.
But they're also showing off their cyber talents by actually participating in the competition along with their fellow students back in Paide. So we have people in Paide competing as well as people from Paide competing here. So it's kind of a real first.
It's a real special moment for all of us here. I got to say, this is really incredible, and thank you so much for joining us. So, are all of the students here involved in cybersecurity and the hacking competition?
Every one of the 8 is participating. They all signed up to do this. They wanted to do it. It's pretty exciting. We've been doing exchange projects with Paide since 2002. So this is really over 16 years. And the culture, as what they're most famous for, is really been the foundation. But this cyber is really the future, so it's really kind of exciting.
And in Estonia, it's the Cyber Olympics or the Hacking Olympics? Or?
Well, they have the NATO Cyber Center of Excellence, which is where all the NATO nations come for help. And Estonia is known to be e-Estonia, which kind of plays on this whole idea of cybersecurity and IT, superiority, et cetera. So it's really a very interesting country to visit, and certainly these kids will represent everything that's happening there.
Yeah. So how many, we have 8 here with us in Westminster, Maryland. How many are competing back home right now in your country? Do you know how many other students there are?
I don't know the answer to that question.
No, maybe another 8 or 10?
It's probably at least 4. I mean, but
10? Yeah?
Oh, there you go. At least 10.
Go. So are we going to beat the other team back home, or is that the goal here? Is that we're gonna win?
We have
right
2 teams here.
We have 2 of them here. Oh,
so we have the girls and the boys competing, and then the ones back home. So it's kind of interesting.
That is really wonderful. Well, thank you all so much for being here. And let's go on to the song here. Can you tell us what the instrument is that they have?
This is a very unique Estonian instrument, and we have 5 of them here called the kannel, and it's uniquely Estonian. They come in different sizes from small to large. This is a small kannel with only 6 strings. This one's played with fingers, but they have kannels that go up to as many as 50 strings.
Oh, wow.
But it has a unique sound, and now they're ready to just give you a little brief bit of their culture.
All righty. Well, without further ado, let's hear the song that you have prepared for us. Go right ahead.
You might notice the song. You might notice the song. So.
Okay. Whenever you guys are ready.
For you take with you all of the sunshine.
Oh, wow, fantastic. That was beautiful. Thank you all so much. Well, I don't want to keep you from the actual competition, so we'll go ahead and wrap this up. But once again, it is such an honor to have you all here with us here and back home competing. We wish you all the best, safe travels back home. Now go back in there and beat everyone back home, all right? Have a great one. We're going to send it back to the arena now. Thanks. All right, welcome back, everyone. We are at the 30-minute mark, so we're going to do a quick score update and check-in. So right now we have in first, I swear that just changed again. These top 3 competitors, folks, every time I look up there, the score changes. So right now, it's in number 1, FCC Cyber 1 from Frederick County Library. In second, we have the team from UMUC, the Padawans. Love the Star Wars analogy. Right here in the Community Media Center. And also in the Frederick County Library is Determination, or is it Determination? I'm not sure. We're going to go with Determination because that's what it's written up there. So we're going to go with that. But watch these scores, folks, because they are changing rapidly right now. In fact, the UMUC Padawans just jumped up again to the number 1 spot. But we have right now 37 different teams that are competing, and so the rest of the scores are scrolling down at the bottom. This game is not over yet. We have hours to go, plenty of competition left, so keep on hacking away, and if you have any questions at all, make sure to raise your hand, and one of our coaches will be around to help you out.
I am here to welcome you to the second annual Carroll County Hackathon. So you're here today to learn how to design, build, and pitch an application. Best idea goes to Punch Card Manifest. Nice job. Best pitch goes to Homework Plus, Chris, John, and Jacob. Best design goes to Me, Bobby, Sam, Chris, come on up. Best tech goes to Choice, John, Braden, and Richard. And our 2018 Carroll County Hackathon winner goes to Infostructure, Chris and Steven. Nice job, guys. Yeah.
All right, welcome back. I have a very special guest with me today. This is Dr. Birgi Lorenz, all the way from Estonia. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
So tell us what you are doing here in America.
I'm doing my 4 months Fulbright, and I'm researching all cybersecurity events for the youth, but also to the older ones.
Okay. And so you're actually looking to take some events or games that are happening here back home with you?
Yes, we are coming to copy you, but also to offer that we have also good events and maybe your people can be part of that.
I think that's a wonderful collaboration. As you know, we are sister cities, we are partners, and so if there's anything that we can share with you and you share back, I think it's a wonderful collaboration. So with your students, they're very interested in cybersecurity and these sort of events then, yes?
Yes, we have around 200 students all over Estonia who are really interested in cybersecurity in a deeper level.
And how does one become involved in cybersecurity back home?
The problem with the youth is nowadays that hacking is considered not something good, and they have to hide their interest. But when they find these CTF events or other events, or friends who are working on this field, then they get inside the community. And then they are in part of this white hat community and not in black hat community. So therefore, most important is to go this event and then find new friends, and then you are good to go.
And so you just hit on something that I wanted to ask about. What's the difference between white hat hacking and black hat hacking?
So there are 3 hats. White are those who, when they found something, they report it and want to solve the issues for the company who has unsecure.
Okay.
Black hats see that if there is money, they will take advantage of that, and surely they don't report anything. But the gray is that somebody, when they have money, they do something, and it's so easy to, from the white to fall into gray. Mm-hmm. So it's so important when you are talented to share your knowledge to others.
And absolutely. We had mentioned before that in this country alone, there's an estimated 3.5 million unfulfilled cybersecurity jobs that we're going to be looking for. Are the numbers the same back in Estonia?
Yes, the Europe is the same. Everybody is lacking people in IT and also in cybersecurity.
So these events are crucial, especially getting students at a young age to get interested in cybersecurity, getting interested in this technology, and really teaching them the right way of doing proper hacking or ethical hacking at an early age like this. These events are just really critical to the success of both of our countries.
Yes, the company should look for not only 5 years what will happen, but 10, 15 years. They will be here, the companies, so they need workers. So go and grab the students already in the early ages.
Absolutely, I could not agree more. It's such a pleasure to have you and your students here. And we had the folk group in here performing, and we've got students back home that are also competing in this competition. Why don't you say a little something to all of the students back home in Estonia?
Tubli toetaja, jätkake!
There we go. Thank you again, Bergie, for being here and joining us, and we're going to send it back on into the arena.
Welcome to Magic's 5th Capture the Flag Ethical Hacking Cybersecurity Competition. In just under 30 minutes, we will have 160 competing simultaneously from 9 locations in Maryland, North Carolina, and Idaho, competing to virtually capture flags by solving cybersecurity puzzles that will earn them points. The team with the most points will be the winner of Magic's 5th Capture the Flag. The skills that students will be learning and demonstrating today include reconnaissance, forensics, exploitation, reversing, cryptography, and more. Each of you has signed an ethical hacking pledge.
train, 'cause it's moving on. Catch that train, 'cause it's moving on. Catch that train, 'cause it's moving on. And it might pass you by before too long. Get it now.
Crazy fast fiber internet is here, built by Westminster and powered by TING. See if the best internet is in your neighborhood at ting.com/Westminster.
Why is there a creepy cemetery here behind the Westminster Library? Why do trains run through the middle of town, right here, blocking traffic but never actually stopping? And you won't believe the hotel that used to stand right here. Here in historic Westminster, we're creating an interactive experience using augmented reality. What is augmented reality? Augmented reality is technology that superimposes a computer-generated image on a user's view of the real world, thus providing a composite view. AR is sweeping the world of historic tourism, and we're creating the best historic AR experience we've ever seen. We'll use our existing Civil War trail markers and GPS coordinates to trigger augmented reality experiences. With a smartphone or tablet, you'll be able to walk up to and into this church, where the library is now, next to the creepy cemetery. You'll actually see the train station that used to be here and where trains used to stop. And you'll be able to visit the Westminster Hotel right here. With your help, we'll enable residents and tourists to experience a Westminster of the past.
Here we are at the Capture the Flag Ethical Hacking Challenge, and a lot of times people, they hear ethical hacking like, "Whoa, those two words don't go together." Well, here today they do, because we are teaching students here skills where they can either be superheroes or supervillains, and we are doing our best to make sure that these students gain those skills to be the superheroes. And I think what's so exciting here for me today is that these students are not here for a grade. They're not here because anyone told them to be here. They're here because they're passionate and they're interested in this material. And so this competition is bringing them together to work together, not only with their peers, but with experts in the industry. And so from Magic's perspective, we want to do this in as many ways as possible. And I think this experience today is one of the many things that we want to do to make sure that our students in this community have the resources and the opportunities that will prepare them to design, build, and secure the future of whatever industry.
Welcome back again. I have with me the executive director of this fantastic establishment here, Richard Turner. Thank you so much for having us.
It's awesome to be here again. Number 7. This is
Number
like,
7.
This is great. This is
007.
Yeah.
It really is. And I don't think we would be able to do what we're doing and to have it grow to this magnitude without your support and your help from your staff, the whole facility here in making this happen. We just can't thank you guys enough.
It's a great partnership. It's an awesome fit because, I mean, Magic's talking about how to build a tech ecosphere, an environment that really takes advantage of technology out in our community, and one where people might not expect technology to be evolving or developing in this particular way. And I think it's really makes a statement about what's going on here in Carroll County because we don't have a community media center in Howard County or in Baltimore County or in Frederick County. Neighboring counties don't have a facility like this. So it's really awesome to be able to do this kind of partnering with Magic, and then to see it really extend globally is just, the impact of it is just phenomenal.
I think that's a really good point. And actually, I didn't realize that other surrounding counties didn't have a media center like this. But people are probably mistaken to assume that you just do television or that you're just using camera, right?
Television is our means, it's not our mission, right? Our mission really is about giving people access to tools and technology for digital media. And so to that end, we're trying to look at any new technology. So really our partnership with Magic is about research and development and innovation. All right, so when we looked at what are our key 3 elements for our strategic framework, one was increasing engagement, one was increasing innovation, and the other was increasing our capacity, essentially finding ways in which we could do more and increase our impact. So this is really about research and development, fits into the innovation bucket, in the ways in which we can test and challenge our staff to figure out new ways to use the technology that we have to extend the mission for nonprofits, for messaging and communications that's needed in our community. And here's just a perfect example of that.
Yeah, and really, it was just a couple years ago that HBO got hacked into by hackers and stole episodes of Game of Thrones or whatever,
and
right?
releasing it or
and
whatever.
so, like,
right?
no industry is really safe from the cybersecurity,
No,
and threats with technology. I mean, most of your shows are probably stored digitally on hard drives,
Absolutely.
right? And all of the equipment that's in the control room.
Completely digital, and we have an amazing data center. We have the fortune of having it. And so when people think about television, they think, oh yeah, is it, what kind of medium is it really? But now it is a digital technology. And so we have to stay up and stay current with that technology. And so this partnership really allows us to test that technology. So this time our focus was, how can we take the gaming platform, because that's really how I look at it, what happens with Capture the Flag, getting that score data into our graphic system so that it can dynamically update. We can get crawls, we can get leaderboards, and all of that's happening dynamically through a data integration. And so, yeah, it is a data field. I mean, that's what we have to be able to master, but we turn it into graphics and we can turn it into entertainment that people can consume.
And as the fifth time hosting this, it has just been a joy and pleasure to see the continued growth of the technology like you were describing, and the fact that we're ingesting real-time score updates into the control room that become lower thirds and all of the things that, are
little tiny things that happen behind the scenes, right? And we have an awesome team here. I mean, the crew here is just really on it. We're real fortunate to be able to have them as part of the gem, part of our superpower, as I started to refer to our capabilities here. Is the creative aspect, and that comes from people being able to look at what can be done, look at that technology and push it to its max.
What is, real quick, the next innovation that the CMC is really going after? What's the next big thing that you guys are really trying to kind of gear up for?
Yeah, so our focus now really is trying to understand, because our first and foremost, our delivery platform is cable. It's where we get our funding from. Essentially, anybody who's got a cable bill, they see a little bit of a couple of their dollars comes to CMC every month, and that helps fund this technology and ensuring that Carroll County has a voice in the thousands of cable channels that are out there, making it local. So we're looking at trying to figure out how can we take advantage of new streaming technologies, how does that give us an opportunity for additional or different revenues. And in particular, we're already starting to do this with sports. So we have started coverage of local high school sports. We started in the fall with football, and now we're doing lacrosse. And so now we're essentially being able to take advantage of this digital technology. We want to try to be able to stream the games, figure out how to get data included in all of that so that we've got scoreboards on the bottom and keep people up to date about what's going on with the local content that's important to them. And sports is just one of those. So that's what we're looking to be able to develop and scale it up. We're looking for volunteers to help come us in, bring us in more, sponsors who can come in and help fund that effort as well.
Really exciting stuff, Richard.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for hosting us again and for being here.
That's great.
And yeah, it's a really great partnership, like you said.
It's awesome.
Thank you. All right, we're going to send it back to the arena. All right, welcome to the Coach's Corner. Again, I'm Vince BUSCEMI, and today's coach is Steve Bitzel, a local software engineer. Steve, come on in. How's it going today?
Good.
Good. So tell us about the puzzle Cafe Babe.
So this puzzle is a play on Java Cafe. It is the beginning of a compiled Java file. It has Cafe Babe as hexadecimal characters, so they just kind of snuck that in there.
Gotcha. So what are some difficult points about this puzzle?
So when competitors first run this, they get a Java version error with this number. It's called a magic number in Java.
No pun intended.
It's right after the Cafe Babe in the header.
Okay.
So they get this error, and the hint from the problem is Cafe Babe, so they kind of have to track that down. And it's a little bit of research to do.
All right. On a difficulty scale, like 1 to 3, how difficult is this puzzle?
So this is part of the level 3 problem set. It's probably an introduction to level 3. So it's a little more challenging. We give them a little less information, but it's not super difficult.
Is there another way to solve this puzzle?
In the real world, if you've compiled it on Java 8 and you're sending it to a Java 7 system, you could update your environment to match your compiled code. But as we're doing here, we don't always have the source files. So
okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, all right, well, I think we're gonna watch a video to explain more about this. Thank you so much, Steve.
All right. So this other problem is probably level 3. Cafe Babe, so that will make sense in a moment. So that's one hint, and the other hint is that we're looking at header.class. So over here in that same folder, we see that it's a Java class, so let's run the file. And we get that it is an unsupported major minor version 52.0. So 52.0 should be Java 8, and currently we have Java 6 installed on here. So it's not going to work because that's above the current version, which is 50, which is defined in Wikipedia page for class file. So down here we can see first for Cafe Babe, then there's 2 bytes, and then the next 2 bytes will be 35, 34, 33, etc. So we need 32 in the header, and we currently have 34. So let me go back here. And we can see that by using XXD to look at header.class. We see at the top, Cafe Babe 0000 0034. So all I did to set this problem up was change the 32 to a 34, and it was no longer to open it. So this was actually compiled with Java 6. So what we can do is open up, just like in the, there's an earlier problem that used the same method. We can open up the hex editor. Open up this class file. Oops. So change this to 32. Save that. Come back over. Run the file, flag, heads up. And that is all.
Here we are at the Capture the Flag Ethical Hacking Challenge, and a lot of times people, they hear ethical hacking like, "Whoa, those two words don't go together." Well, here today they do, because we are teaching students here skills where they can either be superheroes or supervillains, and we are doing our best to make sure that these students gain those skills to be the superheroes. And I think what's so exciting here for me today is that these students are not here for a grade. They're not here because anyone told them to be here. They're here because they're passionate and they're interested in this material. And so this competition is bringing them together to work together, not only with their peers, but with experts in the industry. And so from Magic's perspective, we want to do this in as many ways as possible. And I think this experience today is one of the many things that we want to do to make sure that our students in this community have the resources and the opportunities that will prepare them to design, build, and secure the future of whatever industry.
All right, we are back in the Coach's Corner. I'm Vince, and I have with me Steve Bitzel. Steve, come on in, buddy. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks. So let's talk about Caesar. Why do you like this puzzle?
Okay, this puzzle I like because it reminds me of back in college. I had this course where we had to solve the assignment by giving the correct input to the problem. So this is similar, where you have to figure out what you have to give the application to get the flag.
Oh, okay. And in this puzzle, you use something called Vim. What is that briefly?
That's just a text editor.
Okay.
It's lightweight. It's used from the command line, and then you can. There's all sorts of plugins that you can do to make your coding faster.
Oh, all right. And how does this relate to the real world?
So I first was introduced to the Caesar cipher back in college in Crypto 101. It's used to secure messages to send to someone over, in the wild. So it relates to web traffic because we need to send our traffic in a secure way.
Right.
So Caesar is a way to introduce the idea of cryptology and securing messages, which are done with keys online.
Thanks so much, Steve. All right, we're going to watch the video about Caesar.
Starting in the level 1 folder, let's start with the Caesar script, or the Caesar problem. Here's a simple script. So let's open up a terminal and run Python of that file. So it asks for a password, and I'm feeling unoriginal, so A, B, C, D, and it gives me KLMN. So let's edit that file, see what's going on in here. So first thing, there's the input, enter password, has something to do with the alphabet, K equals 10, and it looks like here it's going to build this cipher, which it does here, by looping through C in plain text and the alphabet. Okay. So it looks like it adds K to the index of C in alphabet and then gets that back out. So it looks like it advances 10, and down here we see if cipher equals that, then print the flag. So what I'm going to do is reverse this whole process, grab that, and also insert a minus to do this in reverse, because a Caesar cipher is just advancing the message by a certain number of characters. So I'm effectively doing the reverse here. So now when I run Caesar.py and give it the cipher to decode, we get that the message is decipher Caesar. So that should have been my password in the first place. So let's change this back. And when we run that with decipher Caesar, we get that as the flag. So decipher Caesar as our flag.
All right, welcome back to the Coach's Corner. I'm Vince, and now we have Joe Mario, a systems engineer. Joe, come on in. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. You're going to tell us about Hidden, so talk a little bit about the puzzle.
Sure. This one's one of my favorites. The reason I like it so much is it's a fairly straightforward problem, and it uses two tools that are pretty key for cyber CTF competitions. One of the tools is something called a hex editor. This is basically a tool that allows you to examine the actual file or program contents, the actual bytes of the program or file, and they're represented in something they call hexadecimal format. The other thing I like about it is it uses web searching. So you have to use a tool in the Kali distribution that we're using called Iceweasel. It's just a web browser. But you can use this tool is very important because you can use it to search for information on the clues, online tools and calculators, and for some inexplicable reason, thousands of photos of cats. I don't know why. So this is one of my favorites. Yeah.
Great. Give us the idea of the difficulty of this kind of a puzzle.
Sure. So this is one of our level 1 problems because it is fairly straightforward, but it's good because it actually allows a competitor, someone new to this kind of competition, it gives them a good chance to get an early success in the competition.
Great. And is there a real world equivalent to this puzzle?
Sure. So this actually has lots of application into the real world. Certainly the hex editor tool that I talked about, this is used a lot in what they call forensics. So if there's been like a cybersecurity breach, a lot of times you'll come in and if you're trying to like see what files may have been modified or something, you might use a hex editor. It's also valuable for what they call reverse engineering. So if I have some file and I'm trying to, maybe it's malware and I'm trying to determine what does it actually do, you can use this tool to go into the file and see the inner workings of the file.
Okay, well thank you so much for that, and we're going to learn more about Hidden now.
I'm going to start with one of the level 1 exercises called Hidden. This happens to be one of my favorite exercises because it involves the good use of a pun. So the first thing I do is I open up the level 1 folder and then open up the Hidden folder. And here we find two files. One of them is an image file called stegosaurus.jpg, and the other is a README file. Now, in the capture the flag exercises, whenever you are provided with a README file, it's definitely wise to look in that file because it will, in general, provide a good clue on how to solve the problem. I'm going to double-click on the README, and here we see the word steganography. So I believe I know what that is, but I'm going to search the internet to make sure I have the correct understanding. So I'm going to open IceWeasel and see if I can type steganography. And here we find that steganography is the hiding of a secret message within an ordinary message. So that leads me to believe that the flag is hidden somewhere in that image file that we saw in this folder. So the first thing I'll do is I'm going to open the image file, and we see it is indeed an image file. It's an image of a stegosaurus, and it's possible the flag is in the image somewhere, so I will do a quick, I'll zoom in a bit here and pan around and see if I see flag anywhere. I don't see any text. And then I'll also check the properties on the side here, and I don't see anything regarding the flag. So now I believe that the flag must be hidden in the contents of the file. Now, just like there are common themes to a capture the flag, and for a great explanation of those themes, see Magic's wonderful introduction to capture the flag presentation. There are also common tools that are used in a capture the flag competition, and one of those is a hex editor, and hex editor allows you to view the contents of a file. So I'm going to close this, go to applications, and see what kind of hex editor we have. It would generally be under programming, and here we see we have the Bless hex editor. So now I'm going to use this to open the Stegosaurus file. Okay, and here we see this is a bunch of hexadecimal code, which is just a shorthand representation of the actual bytes of the file, and on the right is an interpretation of trying to change those bytes into some kind of text. So we would like to see if the word flag is hidden in this file somewhere, so I'm going to go up to search, choose find, and type the word flag. Now you can see in the box here to the right, it's saying, well, how am I conducting the search? I'm searching for something hexadecimal or not, or we're searching for some kind of text. So I'm going to select text and hit enter. And we don't find any results, but I am not going to give up yet. These searches are case sensitive, so it's possible that the flag is hidden as all caps. And it could be a combination. It could be capital F and lowercase lag. So there would be different iterations to try, but I'm going to try all caps. And aha, we have found it. If you look on the pane to the right, it has found it. And we see the flag is SW33T_Dino.
All right, welcome back. I have with me James Chisholm Williams, who was a former competitor with us at the CTF 005. So welcome back, James.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
So you also were a competitor at a remote location, right?
Yes.
So what was that experience like? This is the first time we've had an opportunity to check in. And so just tell us what that was like to be remotely and kind of watching this all happen on a screen.
So it was my first time in an actual live capture the flag.
Okay.
So I really found it nice that the people there were very friendly. They're very helpful. It's also good to have somebody's face to look at. It just makes it a lot more personable. And just watching everything go on in Westminster from Columbia, it was like crazy. Just seeing how everything was going on there and how we were looking at them and how they would pan to us. So
it's wild, and being on this side of it and trying to speak to you guys and to see you on the screen. It's so cool to see so many different locations. We've got international, worldwide locations. We have ones here in Maryland. It's really a cool thing to see. And so now, I guess I should say, you guys actually won that competition, right?
Yes.
First place. You were the UMUC Padawans.
Yes.
Number 2.
Yes, number 2.
Okay, so they won the CTF 005, which means that you had the option of coming back as a coach, which you have done. And so you're with us here today volunteering as one of our coaches.
Yes.
So what is that experience like now that you were a competitor at a remote location and now you're one of the coaches helping us out? Just describe for those at home what that experience is.
So I really think it's important to give back to the community and to promote this understanding interest in cybersecurity. And so this is one way that I can do that. I also volunteered at Cyber Patriot earlier this week. So I really enjoy volunteering. Today I'm working a lot with the Estonian teams. It's really difficult to kind of translate, but it's also a fun challenge. So that's how I also kind of keep myself a little interested in this as well.
That's a great way to think about it. Very cool. Why don't you maybe describe for us, so you're still a student at UMUC?
Correct.
Okay, so how has this competition helped with your schoolwork? I'm assuming that you're still pursuing cybersecurity and technology. So describe for us, how this event and ones like it can help students further their career in school.
So this is very hands-on, it's very in the moment. When you're at home, you kind of have all the time in the world, but when you have a time limit, it's very difficult. You have to communicate a lot more with people. And also, it just provides real-world experience that you just can't beat.
That's really great. So if you had one tip that you could offer to our newcomers or to anyone that is interested in cybersecurity, what's the one tip that you could give them as a former competitor and now as a coach?
Well, in the actual CTF, I would say to communicate. There were a lot of times in my CTF where I would be working on a problem that somebody completed 10 minutes ago. So if you're able to communicate, it's a very valuable skill. But also, just at home, just continue to practice and always put your best in. If you can't get it today, try again tomorrow.
Those are great words. We're all out of time, but thank you again so much for volunteering and coming back and helping the next generation of students pursue their cybersecurity goal. Thank you again, James.
Thank you for having me.
Alrighty. All right, welcome back. Once again, I'm Vince BUSCEMI, and I am here with past winners from last year's event. We have Ben and Tyler with us today, so welcome, guys.
Hello. Hi.
And because you won last year's event, you are invited to come back and volunteer as a coach, which you are both doing today, right?
Yep.
Fantastic. So tell us, what has that experience been like for you, not as the competitor, but now on this side as a coach?
It's definitely different coming in and not having to sit down and solve problems, having to help other people with their problems. It's a fun experience.
And so far, I've been having a lot of fun with it, going around and helping all the new students out.
There's a lot of them in there, too.
Yeah.
I had no idea that we had so many until we just started, and especially the ones from Estonia. We have a large, 2 groups from there. So tell us, what are some of the problems that they're having, not just the Estonia teams, but all of the competitors today?
So a lot of the problems people have been having is they kind of get stuck. They don't know where to go. They jump into a problem that might be too hard for them, and they just don't know what to do. So it's hard to guide them through without giving them the answer. So usually suggesting them like, oh, well, maybe you should look on online tools or try Googling of like what you're seeing. Try to find out how to get to the end.
Okay. And Tyler, same for you?
Yeah, it's the same thing. People get stuck. They don't really know where to look. And as far as the Estonia team, there's the language barrier that's having a little bit of a problem, but they're doing pretty well for their first time.
Okay. How did you both prepare as a competitor last year when you won the event? How did you prepare? I mean, you probably weren't thinking, hey, we're going to win it all, but you did. And maybe you are. Maybe, I don't know. But how does one go about preparing for an event like this?
So we did a lot of practice both in person and online, and we also realized our own skills like programming, networking, just general skills, and we divided the challenges up into what we can do, what we can't do, and I think that helped us a lot with getting a lot of points but not getting stuck on anything, so we kind of filled everything out.
And had you both competed in an event before this CTF? Were there other CTFs that you competed in?
Magic is my first CTF.
Okay.
I've done 3 so far. So.
And what did you do with those?
The other 2 were kind of like trial runs. They weren't great, but they weren't bad.
Okay.
So. I'm fine with it.
And now you're both still in school.
Yep.
Okay. What college is it?
We're Carroll Community College.
Carroll Community. Okay, great, fantastic. What is it about these events that is helping you progress with your schooling?
So it takes a lot of like the theoretical stuff that we learn in class, like we learn everything on paper. We'll do a couple practicals, but most of the thing is from books. We're reading through books. We're practicing like on paper. So coming here takes a lot of that theoretical knowledge and puts it into like practical. We see how it actually works in a real world environment, how the encryption works, how like network security works. So it helps us like solidify that theoretical knowledge that we learn.
I see. And so you don't have games like this that you play in school? It's more of the going through the book challenges and exercises that way, or do you still have games presented in this format?
Yeah, we're part of a club at Carroll for Capture the Flag to get people kind of ready for it. But
Okay.
in terms of the classes don't really have anything like this. So the competitions are actually a good way to get people familiar with using Linux or certain programs to do this stuff. So.
Okay. So we had Major General Singh here this morning, which was really cool. And she spoke a lot about cybersecurity opportunities for military and things like that. Where are you guys thinking that your career path is going to take you once you graduate with this skill set?
So I leave that pretty open for whatever I want to do in the future, but right now I'm going on like government, military, helping secure people overseas.
Yeah.
So they don't mess up and get themselves or somebody else hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. And how about for you, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, cybersecurity is such a broad range of careers. So right now I'm just trying to figure out which one I want to try.
Right. So for our students in the room, what tips are you able to provide them, maybe not competing today, but for our future competitors? What's a really helpful tip for them to take with them?
So I would say do a lot of practice. If you're in classes, pay attention to your classes. But the most important would be working as a team and using Google.
Google it. I hear that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, just don't get frustrated. Just think things through.
Yeah. I hear communication as well, especially when you're working on a team, that you got to talk to each other and be open about what problems you're working on, so you're not working on the same thing by accident and that sort of stuff. So once again, thank you both so much for being here. Congrats for last event's win, but we're so happy to have you both here volunteering as a coach, and just really great to see this cultivating the students coming back and helping out with volunteering. It's really what this event is all about. So thank you guys so much. Back to the arena. right, welcome back, everyone. We're going to do a score update. So right now we have FCC Cyber 1 is in first place there in our Frederick County Library. And right here we have the UMUC Padawans in second place. And in third place, we have a team from Estonia that's really close to taking over that second place. So that's fantastic. But as you can see, we've got a lot of a great spread and mixture of all of the teams. I'm hearing a lot of cheering here in this room in Westminster, and I'm sure that there's lots of cheering that's going on all around the world. We still have plenty of time to go, and we're not near the end of the game at all. There's still plenty of opportunities to catch up. Plenty of opportunities to take over any of the top 3 spots. So keep on moving along, and yeah, just keep on doing what you're doing. How's everybody feeling in here? We all feeling good? Feeling good? Yeah. Hey, I actually got a response this time. That's great. Usually they're just so involved in the code and hacking that they don't even talk to me. You guys are doing fantastic, and I hope everyone around the world is also doing great. I know we've been checking in on different locations from around the different feeds that we have. So this is once again just an absolutely fantastic event. Love having you all here, and we'll check back in again soon. Those scores haven't changed too much just yet, but I'm sure that they will. You want to do the total? Yeah, we still have a while.
afternoon and welcome to Magic's 5th Capture the Flag Ethical Hacking Cybersecurity Competition. In just under 30 minutes, we will have 160 competing simultaneously from 9 locations in Maryland, North Carolina, and Idaho, competing to virtually capture flags by solving cybersecurity puzzles that will earn them points. The team with the most points will be the winner of Magic's 5th Capture the Flag. The skills that students will be learning and demonstrating today include reconnaissance, forensics, exploitation, reversing, cryptography, and more. Each of you has signed an ethical hacking pledge.
Catch that train, 'cause it's moving on. Catch that train, 'cause it's moving on. Catch that train, 'cause it's moving on. And it might pass you by before too long. Get it now.
Crazy fast fiber internet is here, built by Westminster and powered by TING. See if the best internet is in your neighborhood at ting.com/Westminster.
Why is there a creepy cemetery here behind the Westminster Library? Why do trains run through the middle of town, right here, blocking traffic but never actually stopping? And you won't believe the hotel that used to stand right here. Here in historic Westminster, we're creating an interactive experience using augmented reality. What is augmented reality? Augmented reality is technology that superimposes a computer-generated image on a user's view of the real world, thus providing a composite view. AR is sweeping the world of historic tourism, and we're creating the best historic AR experience we've ever seen. We'll use our existing Civil War trail markers and GPS coordinates to trigger augmented reality experiences. With a smartphone or tablet, you'll be able to walk up to and into this church, where the library is now, next to the creepy cemetery. You'll actually see the train station that used to be here, and where trains used to stop. And you'll be able to visit the Westminster Hotel right here. With your help, we'll enable residents and tourists to experience a Westminster of the past.
Here we are at the Capture the Flag Ethical Hacking Challenge, and a lot of times people, they hear ethical hacking like, well, those two words don't go together. Well, here today they do, because we are teaching students here skills where they can either be superheroes or supervillains, and we are doing our best to make sure that these students gain those skills to be the superheroes. And I think what's so exciting here for me today is that these students are not here for a grade. They're not here because anyone told them to be here. They're here because they're passionate and they're interested in this material. And so this competition is bringing them together to work together, not only with their peers, but with experts in the industry. And so from Magic's perspective, we want to do this in as many ways as possible. And I think this experience today is one of the many things that we want to do to make sure that our students in this community have the resources and the opportunities that will prepare them to design, build, and secure the future of whatever industry.
All right, and we are back. I have with me Tim and Kirk, and they are from a company called Panacity. Welcome, guys.
Hi, thank you for having us.
So you are the owner of Panacity, Tim?
Yes, sir.
All right, and why did you start this company?
Well, we started the company to help protect humans as well as networks from cyber attacks. Pretty simple.
Absolutely. And so what is your role at the company, Kirk?
I'm the cloud engineer.
Okay, and what does that mean?
I do all the infrastructure, set up all the servers, virtual networks, all kinds of stuff like that, all the infrastructure that our clients use within the cloud.
Okay, and how big does that look? I mean, I know it's virtual because it's cloud. However,
sometimes they get pretty complex. 10, 12 servers all linked together and whatnot.
Okay.
It's fun stuff.
And why is this important for our community to have a company like yours?
Well, really what we concentrate on is educating users, number one.
Okay.
Number two, we test systems, i.e. we're hackers, right, at the
Yes.
end of the day. You really want us taking a look at your system, your code, your web interfaces, any technologies, what we call an attack surface, right? Anywhere a hacker can gain access, whether it's the internet, a VPN service, a Wi-Fi access point, anywhere within the organization, either an insider threat or an outsider threat could hurt them there.
So you are predominantly looking at other businesses and their technologies, or is there not really a particular niche that you guys are focused on?
Well, right now we're focused very heavily on government service. As I'd say about 50% of our business, and the other 50% of our business is really good with corp to corp, business to business type providing. We really specialize in that small to medium sized business area because people think cybersecurity is too expensive and they can't afford it. So for under $500 a month, essentially, a company of 1 or 2 or 3 people could afford our cybersecurity services, and that scales all the way. We have companies with hundreds of users in it, and of course, we secure full government agencies as well.
Oh, and so how many folks are working there at Panacity?
Right now, I think we're at about 10.
Okay.
Yeah, and growing pretty quickly.
I bet. I mean, the stat that I keep quoting is that there are projected 3.5 million unfulfilled cybersecurity jobs that will be coming up either this year, next year, or the years to come. And so this is really crucially important, not just for our own safety and security, but I mean, really, it's global. It's the whole world. And like what we're doing here, you guys are located in Maryland, right?
That we are. So we're really working sort of with Governor Hogan's vision of Maryland being the cyber Silicon Valley of the world.
Okay.
And so just a statistic here for Maryland for you. So yeah, right now today there's 1.9 million unfulfilled cyber jobs this year.
Okay.
Okay. In the whole world.
Okay.
In the state of Maryland, we're looking at 17,500 to 20,000 jobs total that are not currently filled because there are no qualified candidates out there. Wow. So companies like us, well, we pop up and we start trying to gain employees. We find that it's very difficult. Number one, the entry-level employee really doesn't exist.
Okay.
The middle-level employee seems to be the most popular, and that senior-level employee doesn't exist either. So that's the conundrum that we sort of get into. So what we've done is we are now working in outreach with collegiate institutions, specifically our 2-year institutions here in the state of Maryland, to create a workforce development program to train people up that are already professionally working their way into the cyber career field. And the number one question I think I get from college students is, hey, I want to be this. How do I get to it?
Right.
How do I access that type of, I want to be a hacker. I want to be a network defender. I want to be somebody who does governance in an organization to ensure their security. How do I get to these things? And they ask me, is it a different set of skills that we learn for everything? And I tell them, not really. We all have a collection of knowledge that's very similar in nature, but the application itself is specialty.
Yeah, and so events like these then are really important to educate students early on so they understand what it is, the skill set that you are looking for and that the job force is really looking for in years to come. And so this is your first time working with this event, the Capture the Flag?
For Magic, absolutely. We've done lots of other Capture the Flag events. So
awesome. So tell me, just to briefly describe your experience as a coach here for the CTF.
So this is my first time being a coach here at one of these, and yeah, it's been very cool. It's great to see all the young people trying to experience things, trying to build their skills, and just the way their brains are working and how they're So we haven't really, honestly, today we haven't really had to do much. They're already on the right track. They just need a little bit of nudge, stop smashing your face into that wall and go try this one, you know. But yeah, it's been great.
That is great. Well, thank you both so much for being here, for volunteering and coaching, and good luck with the business, and hopefully your next couple of employees are going to come from that room back there.
Absolutely. Just to compound on one thing for you, we're really at a deficit right now of women in the scientific, engineering, and mathematics institutions themselves.
Okay.
We typically lose students around 8th grade, women and minorities specifically. So this event is extremely important for us to help come out and inspire young women, minorities, or people of all walks of life and color and whatnot. But right now we have that huge disparity in our career field to where it's a majority of a one demographic versus a majority of another demographic, and we're looking to help gender integrate and make things a little bit more equal on the playing field for women and minorities coming into the STEM fields.
Yeah, well, that is really, really great to know. And I mean, certainly events like these are going to keep growing, and we love seeing diversity in all of the students and competitors. So thank you both so much, and we're going to throw it back to the arena. right, we are back in the Coach's Corner. I'm Vince, and I have with me Steve Bitzel. Steve, come on in, buddy. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks. So let's talk about Caesar. Why do you like this puzzle?
Okay, this puzzle I like because it reminds me of back in college. I had this course where we had to solve the assignment by giving the correct input to the problem. So this is similar, where you have to figure out what you have to give the application to get the flag.
Oh, okay. And in this puzzle, you use something called Vim. What is that briefly?
That's just a text editor.
Okay.
It's lightweight. It's used from the command line, and then you can. There's all sorts of plugins that you can do to make your coding faster.
Oh, all right. And how does this relate to the real world?
So I first was introduced to the Caesar cipher back in college in Crypto 101. It's used to secure messages to send to someone over, in the wild. So it relates to web traffic because we need to send our traffic in a secure way.
Right.
So Caesar is a way to introduce the idea of cryptology and securing messages which are done with keys online.
Thanks so much, Steve. All right, we're going to watch the video about Caesar.
Starting in the level 1 folder, let's start with the Caesar script, or the Caesar problem. Here's a simple script. So let's open up a terminal and run Python of that file. So it asks for a password, and I'm feeling unoriginal, so A, B, C, D, and it gives me KLMN. So let's edit that file, see what's going on in here. So first thing, there's the input, enter password, has something to do with the alphabet, K equals 10, and it looks like here it's going to build this cipher, which it does here, by looping through C in plain text and the alphabet. Okay. So it looks like it adds K to the index of C in alphabet and then gets that back out. So it looks like it advances 10, and down here we see if cipher equals that, then print the flag. So what I'm going to do is reverse this whole process, grab that, and also insert a minus to do this in reverse, because the Caesar cipher is just advancing the message by a certain number of characters. So I'm effectively doing the reverse here. So now when I run Caesar.py and give it the cipher to decode, we get that the message is decipher Caesar. So that should have been my password in the first place. So let's change this back. And when we run that with decipher Caesar, we get that as the flag. So decipher Caesar is our flag.
Welcome back. We're in the Coach's Corner again. I'm Vince, and I have with me Joe Mario. Joe, hey, how's it going?
Great, great.
Good.
Thank you.
So tell us about playtime.
Sure, playtime. So it's this is one of my favorite puzzles. The reason it's my favorite, or one of my favorites, is it uses two key tools that you need for CTF competitions. One is a hex editor, which is a tool that allows you to examine the contents of a file or a program, the actual individual bytes. And then the other one is the web browser. So you have to basically be using your web searching skills in order to solve the problem.
Okay. Are there more than one way to solve this problem?
There are. So a lot of these problems provide a README or basically a file that gives you a clue on how to solve it. And this one, if one does not look at this file carefully, they may actually try to install some software, and they'll realize they're going down a dead end, and then have to pull back and try another path. But this brings up a funny story. One of the other puzzles that for a previous competition, that I was working on, I was actually writing up a solution. I had a page-long solution that involved different character encodings. I had to do Boolean math operations. It was super long explanation.
Right.
And then I talked to the puzzle creator, and she says, well, did you try actually running the code that I gave you? And I said, no. And if you do that, it can be solved in 2 steps. So I guess another reason I bring this up, because not only are there multiple ways to solve a problem, but also it touches on a theme of CTFs, is that it's okay to fail, but you want to fail quickly. You want to move on and find the next viable solution.
So can you briefly explain how this relates to real-world cybersecurity?
Sure. So the like the two tools I mentioned, the hex editor and of course the web browser, are used a lot in cybersecurity, particularly in forensics, where you're trying to study basically the aftermath of some kind of cyber attack, and the hex editor will allow you to examine the contents of the files. And also, the other thing is this puzzle involves altering the extension of a file. And that's a technique that a lot of adversaries, when they try to attack a system, might do. They might alter file extensions to hide their file. Like, so the files look benign, and so you might not know that you have these infected files in your system. So this is a real-world application.
All right, thanks so much, Joe. We're going to watch a video and learn a little bit more about playtime.
Right.
Okay, we're going to do a level 2 exercise. This one is called playtime. So I double-click playtime, and we find 2 files in the folder. Extension fun.nds file and a readme file. And as usual, for capture the flag competition, it's best to start with the readme file. So I look here, and the clue tells me if I'm installing anything that I'm doing it wrong. So I believe we're not supposed to install any kind of software while we attempt to solve this problem. So we see here, I'm not familiar with the .nds extension. I could search for it on the internet, or I could be lazy and double-click and see what happens. We get a nice, helpful error message saying that this is a Nintendo DS ROM file and that there is no application installed to open it. And we know we're not supposed to install one. So this makes me believe, and given the title of the file, that there's something wrong with the extension in this file. So since I believe the extension is wrong, we need to examine the contents of the file, see if we can gather what type of file it really is. And so we go to Applications, Programming, and Hex Editor. And this will allow us to examine the contents of the file. So I go navigate to the file. Okay, and here we see the hexadecimal representation of the file and some text in the right-hand side pane. It is possible, and it's probably worth a moment or two just to see if the word flag is hidden anywhere in this file. So text was not found. I'll do all caps. Not found. Okay. Well, it's somewhat unlikely anyway, because it appears this problem is geared towards doing something with the extension for the file. Okay, so one of the ways to find out information about a file is to look at the header or the beginning part of the file. So if we're scrolled up to the top already. We see on the right-hand side here, there is some text that looks interesting. I see something about open document. Now, I believe I know what this is, but let's do an internet search just to make sure. So I can copy this. Open Iceweasel. And this looks promising. We found a direct hit. It appears that this is some kind of open document, text document. And wouldn't you know it, it's telling us that this document should have a .odt extension. So I'll go back to the folder, close this out. It's a good idea to make a copy of the file in case you do something to damage it. So I made a copy, rename it, and that search result told me it should have an ODT extension. So do that. And now double click on it, see if it'll open. And it opened, and here we have the flag. Sorry, no Nintendo here.
Catch that train, 'cause it's moving on. Catch that train, 'cause it's moving on. Catch that train, 'cause it's moving on, and it might pass you by before too long. Get it now.
Crazy fast fiber internet is here, built by Westminster and powered by TING. See if the best internet is in your neighborhood at ting.com/Westminster.
All right, we are back in the Coach's Corner. I'm Vince, and I have with me Steve Bitzel. Steve, come on in, buddy. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks. So let's talk about Caesar. Why do you like this puzzle?
Okay, this puzzle I like because it reminds me of back in college. I had this course where we had to solve the assignment by giving the correct input to the problem. So this is similar, where you have to figure out what you have to give the application to get the flag.
Oh, okay. And in this puzzle, you use something called Vim. What is that briefly?
That's just a text editor.
Okay.
It's lightweight. It's used from the command line, and then you can. There's all sorts of plugins that you can do to make your coding faster.
Oh, all right. And how does this relate to the real world?
So I first was introduced to the Caesar cipher back in college in Crypto 101. It's used to secure messages to send to someone over, in the wild. So it relates to web traffic because we need to send our traffic in a secure way.
Right.
So Caesar is a way to introduce the idea of cryptology and securing messages, which are done with keys online.
Thanks so much, Steve. All right, we're going to watch the video about Caesar.
Starting in the level 1 folder, let's start with the Caesar script, or the Caesar problem. Here's a simple script. So let's open up a terminal and run Python of that file. So it asks for a password, and I'm feeling unoriginal, so A, B, C, D. And it gives me KLMN. So let's edit that file, see what's going on in here. So first thing, there's the input, enter password, has something to do with the alphabet, K equals 10. And it looks like here it's going to build this cipher, which it does here, by looping through C in plain text and the alphabet. Okay. So it looks like it adds K to the index of C in alphabet and then gets that back out. So it looks like it advances 10, and down here we see if cipher equals that, then print the flag. So what I'm going to do is reverse this whole process, grab that, and also insert a minus to do this in reverse, because the Caesar cipher is just advancing the message by a certain number of characters. So I'm effectively doing the reverse here. So now when I run Caesar.py and give it the cipher to decode, we get that the message is decipher Caesar. So that should have been my password in the first place. So let's change this back. And when we run that with decipher Caesar, we get that as the flag. So decipher Caesar as our flag.
All right, welcome back to the Coach's Corner. I'm Vince, and now we have Joe Mario, a systems engineer. Joe, come on in. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. You're going to tell us about Hidden, so talk a little bit about the puzzle.
Sure. This one's one of my favorites. The reason I like it so much is it's a fairly straightforward problem, and it uses two tools that are pretty key for cyber CTF competitions. One of the tools is something called a hex editor. This is basically a tool that allows you to examine the actual file or program contents, the actual bytes of the program or file, and they're represented in something they call hexadecimal format. The other thing I like about it is it uses web searching. So you have to use a tool in the Kali distribution that we're using called Iceweasel. It's just a web browser. But you can use, this tool is very important because you can use it to search for information on the clues, online tools and calculators, and for some inexplicable reason, thousands of photos of cats. I don't know why. So yeah, so this is one of my favorites. Yeah.
Great. Give us the idea of the difficulty of this kind of a puzzle.
Sure. So this is one of our level 1 problems because it is fairly straightforward, but it's good because it actually allows a competitor, someone new to this kind of competition, it gives them a good chance to get an early success in the competition.
Great. And is there a real world equivalent to this puzzle?
Sure. So this actually has lots of application into the real world. Certainly the hex editor tool that I talked about, this is used a lot in what they call forensics. So if there's been like a cybersecurity breach, a lot of times you'll come in and if you're trying to like see what files may have been modified or something, you might use a hex editor. It's also valuable for what they call reverse engineering. So if I have some file and I'm trying to, maybe it's malware and I'm trying to determine what does it actually do, you can use this tool to go into the file and see the inner workings of the file.
Okay, well thank you so much for that, and we're going to learn more about Hidden now.
I'm going to start with one of the level 1 exercises called Hidden. This happens to be one of my favorite exercises because it involves the good use of a pun. So the first thing I do is I open up the level 1 folder and then open up the Hidden folder. And here we find 2 files. One of them is an image file called stegosaurus.jpg and the other is a README file. Now in the capture the flag exercises, whenever you are provided with a README file, it's definitely wise to look in that file because it will in general provide a good clue on how to solve the problem. I'm going to double click on the README. And here we see the word steganography. So I believe I know what that is, but I'm going to search the internet to make sure I have the correct understanding. So I'm going to open Iceweasel. And see if I can type steganography. And here we find that steganography is the hiding of a secret message within an ordinary message. So that leads me to believe that the flag is hidden somewhere in that image file that we saw in this folder. So the first thing I'll do is I'm going to open the image file. And we see it is indeed an image file. It's an image of a stegosaurus. And it's possible the flag is in the image somewhere, so I will do a quick, I'll zoom in a bit here and pan around and see if I see flag anywhere. I don't see any text. And then I'll also check the properties on the side here, and I don't see anything regarding the flag. So now I believe that the flag must be hidden in the contents of the file. Now, just like there are common themes to a capture the flag, and for a great explanation of those themes, see Magic's wonderful introduction to capture the flag presentation. There are also common tools that are used in a capture the flag competition, and one of those is a hex editor, and hex editor allows you to view the contents of a file. So I'm going to close this, go to applications, and see what kind of hex editor we have. It would generally be under programming. And here we see we have the Bless hex editor. So now I'm going to use this to open the Stegosaurus file. Okay, and here we see this is a bunch of hexadecimal code, which is just a shorthand representation of the actual bytes of the file, and on the right is an interpretation of trying to change those bytes into some kind of text. So we would like to see if the word flag is hidden in this file somewhere. So I'm going to go up to search, choose find, and type the word flag. Now you can see in the box here to the right, it's saying, well, how am I conducting the search? I'm searching for something hexadecimal or not, or we're searching for some kind of text. So I'm going to select text and hit enter. And we don't find any results, but I am not going to give up yet. These searches are case sensitive, so it's possible that the flag is hidden as all caps. It could be a combination. It could be capital F and lowercase lag. So there would be different iterations to try, but I'm going to try all caps. And aha, we have found it. If you look on the pane to the right, it has found it. And we see the flag is SW33T_Dino.
And we're back. Once again, I am Vince, and with me is Jen Bishop. Welcome, Jen.
Thank you.
My good friend, Jen Bishop, from the library, of course.
Yes.
And last year, you had talked to us a bit about Exploration Commons at 50 East. Did I get it right?
You got it right.
I got it right, people. So I think you've got some news. Can you update us on that project?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So the library is transforming the 14,000 square foot lower level of the Westminster branch into Exploration Commons at 50 East, and it's going to offer a tech-focused makerspace, a professional teaching kitchen, and large and small meeting spaces. We are almost final with the design. Construction will start this summer, and we are still on schedule to open in June of 2020.
Oh, that is exciting.
It is.
So I can't wait to see this. And to have it right here in Carroll County, Maryland, in Westminster, is just so fantastic. I mean, all of this great tech community, things coming together, and for a space for students to build things, get really creative, but not just students in the sense of like middle school, high school. It's anyone can use this space and do whatever they want within the technology within the space, right?
Yeah, so that's really what we're trying to do, is support the creation of ideas for really all ages. So students, entrepreneurs, adults, for their personal and professional and, educational projects. So just to have those resources, equipment, and instruction available to everybody and complementing what all of our educational partners are doing, we're really excited to bring that online.
And I love that the library is reinventing itself. Like I think people just think, oh, it's just books. There's just lots of books there, and that's all the library offers. And that's not the case at all. There's so much more and so much potential that I really do hope that people continue to go into the library and see, all of the cool things that are going on there and happening. And certainly when Exploration Commons is unveiled to the whole community, I mean, I just think there's going to be too many people in that space just using it, playing around with it. It's going to be a problem, Jen. I think it's going to be a problem.
It's a good problem.
It is a good problem to have. So in addition to that, though, someone told me that you have something else that you want to talk about, and it has a name?
We do. So we actually received a grant from the Maryland State Library and Institute of Museum and Library Services to purchase Pepper. And Pepper is a 4-foot-tall social humanoid robot that we now have at the library. Cool. Pepper is out visiting all of the branches, and we're really using it as a way to introduce the community to what do robots look like in a public space, what are some of their strengths, what are some of their limitations and challenges, what is robot interaction going to look like in the future, and then we'll be using Pepper as a teaching tool to teach coding to teens and adults starting this May, so you can come in and write a simple program and run it on
Wow. Pepper. I'm blown away. This is like an incredible thing to have.
It's really cool.
Is it like in your office where you can play
it
with
is.
Pepper?
So,
oh my gosh.
so Pepper is hanging out with me right now as we get everything up and running, but Pepper's out visiting the branches and, stay tuned and visit the library website at library.car.org, and you can come out and meet Pepper. We're really excited to introduce Pepper to the community.
I really want to meet Pepper. I can't wait to meet Pepper. That sounds exciting. And so is there anything else that the library is doing with technology that you want to touch on? Virtual reality stuff or augmented reality or anything like that?
Yep, so we still do virtual reality demos. So for most people that haven't had a chance to try virtual reality, come on out to one of our branches. You can, again, check our events calendar. We run demos. You can experience that. We still have our partnership with the Union Mills Homestead to run the augmented reality project, so that you can visit the mill and the tannery at the homestead in AR. So that's kind of a neat introduction to what these technologies are. So we're really just trying to connect the community to what some of these new technologies are, how they can be used, the potential for the future, and give everybody an introduction. It's really exciting.
Yeah, and for those who may not know what augmented reality is, imagine you take your phone into a space, and so using the camera on the phone connected to the internet, you would be able to see like old photos of the building or the location, or you would see like maybe just a cornfield where now, like, there's a giant warehouse and a manufacturing facility, but 100 years ago there was nothing there but corn. And so that's the power of augmented reality, is kind of teaching the past and the history, but it's like another fun place to explore and just like dive into some really cool technology.
Most definitely.
Awesome.
So,
Well, Jen,
yeah.
thank you again so much. It's always wonderful seeing you. And I'm going to stop by and we're going to check out
Yes,
Pepper.
most-
You're going to show me Pepper, and we're going to have some fun with that. And I cannot wait until next year when Exploration Commons is unveiled to the community.
We're really excited.
Cool. Thank you so much, Jen. Back, folks. We are at the 30-minute mark. We've got less than 30 minutes to go. We're going to do a quick score update. Just moments ago, in first place was CyberSpike from Estonia, but once again, FCC Cyber 1 has jumped back into the lead. Those three teams, first, second, and third with UMUC Padawans, they have been battling it out all day long for those top three spots. They keep flip-flopping back and forth. It is such a tight race, and we've got so much more to go. Less than 30 minutes, yes, but there's still plenty of opportunity for more points. We're still 1,000 points away from the max, so there's still plenty of opportunities there. You know, you can see the scrolling numbers there. We've got so many teams from around the world that are competing here today. And certainly we want to give a shout out to our Estonian group here. I don't think I'm going to be able to say the, so the team name is Super Recruit. There we go. So that's as best as I'm going to get. So it's close enough. I apologize for butchering it, but we've got the two teams here from Estonia. We've got teams back in Estonia working hard, and this has just been a really fantastic event for everyone. So keep on going. All right, we've got, 27 minutes to go. Still plenty of time, and still plenty of points to go after. All right, welcome back. Again, my name is Vince BUSCEMI, and I am standing here with my good friend and previous MC of this event, Jason Stambaugh. Jason, welcome.
It's wonderful to be here. It's wonderful to be back. It's been, I think I missed the last one, so it's just awesome to see these kids again. Just really great energy here. Just excited to be on. This is new, so I've never been on air before like this. This is a little strange, but it's wonderful to be back.
This is cool. It's really evolved in the since you started it. We're on our 7th one. You did the first 2. The competition has grown exponentially, really, with the number of students, and it's really fantastic to have that right here in our hometown of Westminster, Maryland. So you are actually here representing the Chamber of Commerce. Your role is the chairman of the board of directors of the Chamber of Commerce. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what your role is there and what the Chamber does for the community?
Yeah, so I have been very, very active in the Chamber since 2012, and the organization itself has been a huge part of my professional life here in Carroll. It's really been the way that I got connected and got to know folks here at the CMC, and how I got to know the folks who ended up getting together to start Magic in general. So the Chamber's been a huge part of my life, and so it's an honor to serve as the chair of the board there this year. So anyway, it's an awesome organization I'm delighted to be a part of.
And really, the thing for the Chamber is economic growth, right? And really promoting business in the area. And so for students who are probably unsure of what they want to get into or what to do, there's really a lot of potential for jobs right here in Carroll County, is it not?
No, exactly. And I think that's the main reason why the Chamber supports Magic and this type of event is we're all about developing the future leaders here in Carroll. And this event gives students a very, very early look and a really, really valuable learning opportunity to get some sense of horizons of what's possible for them and their careers, and specifically it'll send them a message about Carroll County that we're not just conservative politics and cornfields, which nothing wrong with those things, but there's a lot more to Carroll than that. And so this event, I think, showcases that there's a bright future for tech here in Carroll, but also really an investment that we're making to make sure that our students are ready for the careers that are just absolutely booming right now.
Absolutely, and careers that we don't even know will exist in some time. I mean, when I was in school, there wasn't the internet, right? So I'm aging myself a little bit here, but really, we didn't know what jobs would be available or be sought after, and so now we have cyber, we have this incredible boom of technology, all happening right here. All of these worlds colliding, and really just the collaboration between school systems, between the Chamber, between Magic and local businesses. And for you, you're an entrepreneur. You've started up a few businesses right here in Carroll as well. Just to have all of that, again, happening right here, it's a really exciting time for us in Carroll.
Yeah, and for every Carroll business, I mean, when you think of the Chamber, you don't necessarily think of, high-tech sorts of businesses, but today, everything from banks to bakeries to agricultural enterprises, all of these things are powered by technology. The growth of companies today, you can't get away from it. I mean, it's an inextricable part of business and how you do business and how you succeed in business. And so the Chamber, we're keeping up with the times. And so we're super excited to be a part of this event and help make sure it continues to grow, and went from a room full of folks to now an international competition, which is really, really incredible.
Absolutely. And lastly, so what's one thing that you think the Chamber is on your radar, that is on the horizon, that you see is something that is really going to be kind of the next level of technology or business growth right here in Carroll?
I mean, I really think that for present businesses, as it applies to cybersecurity, I think cybersecurity and cyber risk, and I don't know if this is the next big thing, but I think is a concern that it's not just the big businesses that are going to be plagued by cybersecurity and these sorts of issues. I think it's an issue that's going to impact every business. And so I think if anything, we'll help train in some folks that will hopefully solve some problems for the businesses we have here in Carroll.
Agreed. Well, once again, it's awesome having you here. Welcome back to the Capture the Flag event, and we're going to throw it right back into the room. Thank you once again, Jason Stambaugh.
Thank you.
in Westminster, and we're going to do a quick score update. We're at the 10-minute mark, folks. We're at the 10-minute mark to go. That's it. We still have the same 3 teams in first, second, and third. The Cyber Spike from Estonia and FCC Cyber, they keep flip-flopping back and forth. This game is not over yet. I mean, in just a couple of minutes, we could see Estonia jump back up in the first multiple more times. And certainly, you can't count out UMUC Padawans. This game isn't over, so please keep on going as hard as you can with all of the puzzles. Coaches helping everyone out. We've got another question down here. If there's a coach available, we have a question on the right side. There we go. We've got coaches coming over. Everyone is, everyone's just head down, got the blinders on. They're not listening to me at all. This is just, fluff at home. It's okay. It's okay. I don't take it personally. It's all good. I don't think we've had any questions on social media. Come on, folks at home. You're supposed to be playing along, right? You can ask me anything. This is like a Reddit Ask Me Anything, right? An AMA. I'll answer it. Oh, my paper's flying all over the place. All right, this game is not over, so keep on going. I'll check back in 5 minutes. Well, let's see if we can make some history up there with some international scores, right? Yeah, Estonia. All right, we'll check back in 5 minutes. Folks, we've got 5 minutes. 5 minutes to go. And like I said, Cyberspike from Estonia has jumped up into first place. So we've still got 5 minutes to go. Do not give up. Keep solving these puzzles. I'd love to see some more score changes because it's just so darn exciting. But right now we've got less than 5 minutes to go, folks. So keep on working, and we'll do the final countdown at 10 seconds. Seconds, everyone. 30 seconds. All right, folks, here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's over! Capture the flag! 007 is done. Congratulations! Cyberspike from Estonia! Way! How exciting is that? Absolutely fantastic game, everyone. Great job to all who participated from all over the world. Thank you all so much. Today you demonstrated skills that included reconnaissance, forensics, exploitation, reversing, cryptography, and so much more. Thank you all so much for being a part of our 7th Capture the Flag event. Thank you to everyone around the world in Ecuador and Estonia and our other locations throughout Maryland for making this one of our most favorite events of the year. If all of the groups actually wouldn't mind at some point, doesn't have to be right now, but send us a picture. We certainly want our top 3 groups to send us a picture. We'll use that in some promotions or marketing at some point, but we'd love to just capture all of you and all of your groups together. So if you have a phone, take a quick selfie, share it with us. Please share it with Amy. Use the hashtag CTFMagic online. But our top 3 teams, just to let you know, will receive an Amazon gift card. So in 3rd place, right here in the Community Media Center in Westminster, Maryland, we have UMUC Padawans. Where are you? Congratulations. Congratulations to you guys. You will be receiving a $25 Amazon gift card for each of you. In 2nd place, we're actually in Frederick County at the library. It's FCC Cyber 1. They will be receiving a $50 Amazon gift card. Let's give it up for them. I don't know how much you were paying attention to that score, but those 2 teams between FCC Cyber and our 1st place team, they kept battling it out the entire day. It has been so exciting to see, and I am so happy to announce that in 1st place, Cyberspike, all the way from Estonia. Let's give it up for them. And certainly want to give a shout out to all of their friends right here in Westminster, Maryland from Estonia. Can we all please give them a big round of applause? Thank you guys so much. And now you can't see it here, but if you look behind you, you'll see that's a live feed of the shot in Estonia. We were just seeing them from the university all the way out there, and we're just so thrilled that our partner city with Westminster has been represented in this event, has been a part of this event for a number of years now, and it's just really exciting, especially to have you guys here and to give us that awesome musical, the song with the instruments and all. That was really fantastic. Best wishes on the rest of your stay here in America and safe travels home. Our next event will be in November. It'll be the CTF 008, and we will announce the exact date coming up soon, but look for our next CTF event in November of this year. And so again, if all of those 3 winning teams could send us a picture, we'd love to capture that and promote it on our website. If you have friends who might be interested in cybersecurity or hacking, get them involved in this event. This is the best way to get started in the industry. As we all have heard so many times today from Major General Singh, from Sheriff DEWEES, we have millions of job opportunities for folks in cybersecurity, and that's just here in Maryland. We've got multiple millions in the U.S., and we have even more all around the world. So once more, I also want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors, Carroll Community College, CTC Technology and Energy, the Maryland Department of Commerce, Carroll Hospital Center, the University of Maryland University College, Next Century Cities, and the Carroll County Chamber of Commerce. Can we all please give those folks a big round of applause? We wouldn't be able to do it without them. I want to thank everyone here at the Community Media Center, everyone behind the scenes, behind the camera, in the control room, in the interview room, making all of this happen, hooking up the technology and broadcasting it out for the world to see. Once more, the round of applause for everyone here at CMC. If you didn't get your fill of food, there are still plenty of snacks and pizza and drinks outside, so you can go ahead and grab those. Thank you all so much. This has been a wonderful event, and we'll see you next time.